Welcome back to Fantasy Football Fam, where we are your guides to fantasy mediocrity. If you want to win your fantasy league, you should probably watch a different show.
Facts.
No.
All jokes aside,
Watch ours.
we're here to show you some of the nuances of fantasy football, maybe point you in the direction of some players you wouldn't know about otherwise. I'm joined today by my awesome co-hosts, Tedder and Mason.
Hello, Fantasy World.
Yellow.
So just like last week, we're giving you another chance to enter our drawing. You could win a spot in our super deep league for free, where there is $600 up for grabs.
No one's taken that spot yet?
Nobody's taken it. Nobody's entered yet. So
Whack.
yeah, it's pretty whack. So enter, right
There's
now.
only one opportunity, guys.
There's only one opportunity.
Once it's gone, it's gone in
Free money.
a week or two. So
Free
jump
money.
on the ship, boys
So
and girls.
stick around and listen for the code word for this week's entry. So we're going to talk about some preseason reactions here. I watched the preseason a little bit. Saw some good things from those rookie quarterbacks. Those top 5 draft picks for quarterbacks. They were pretty efficient. With outside of Trey Lance, they all completed at least 66% of their passes. It's good to see, some accurate throwing from those young guys.
Nice.
Fields had 2 total TDs. The rushing TD was pretty impressive. The passing TD, not so much. The dude was wide open. Still good to see. Trey Lance, very inefficient, but he did have an awesome 80-yard bomb. It was very impressive. I did like to see that.
That was one of his 4 passes, was an 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah, it was. So that was good to see, especially if you're a 49er fan. And then, I'm still not sure I want to draft any of these guys. Justin Fields seemed a little interesting maybe for a late round pick. But ultimately, I didn't see enough. You're going to have to keep watching to really make a decision on these guys. It does make me more excited about the other skill players on those teams, that they could come through and actually be more fantasy relevant than we might have thought originally. So, Tedder, what were your reactions from the preseason?
I spent Saturday watching my Denver Broncos. I mainly pay attention to them. There's some other teams I pay attention to players-wise, but being a diehard Broncos fan, I'll always watch them. One thing I was impressed with was Drew Lock. He looked really good. Obviously, take it with a little bit because the Vikings didn't play many starters, which is okay.
Yeah.
But Drew Lock, what I wanted to see was a little bit more consistency. He looked good, a little bit more accuracy. Looked good. Their decision-making looked good. Didn't turn the ball over, which is big.
That's good. Yeah.
He did have a big play, a deep ball to KJ Hamler, which was nice to see on a rope, accurate, deep. Led him into the end zone was great. Teddy Bridgewater looked good as well. Came in, spin the ball pretty well, threw a touchdown pass to, I believe, Trinity Benson, upcoming rookie who Denver really likes. Probably won't see much of the field, but Denver likes him anyways. So outside of that 80-yard bomb from Drew Lock, Teddy and Drew played pretty similar, so that was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Another guy I was excited to watch play was Javonte Williams. Being an ex-running back myself, I love watching the running back position. This man's like a human bowling ball. He loves to break tackles, runs physical, and he's just he's a beast. I think he's a beast on his way for sure. And then obviously Denver's defense is going to look good. Patrick Surtain, our number 1 pick, had a pick 6, so that was cool to see. So, I'm getting a little bit excited about some donkey football.
Yeah.
So,
Why not?
Yeah.
They
What
got
about
some
you,
health
Mason?
back. They got some health back. I am not as excited about donkey football or preseason football. I'm taking it with a grain of salt. I'm not building myself a beach or anything, but we know that the regular season will be more physical. And we know that these defensive players aren't going to be making the same cuts in the preseason that they'll be risking their bodies all out on the line for those 17 games we're about to get that are fantasy relevant.
Right.
But you do want to evaluate the young talent. And, you've seen some good things out of Lawrence, out of Fields, the guys that we were kind of talking about last week. So
Right.
it kind of goes to show that young guys can benefit from the preseason, and then you get the game flow going, you get your dress rehearsal. I think Tedder kind of hit that earlier when we were discussing this, that these guys, dress rehearsals are very important for the big show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Well, we also did rank our top 50 draft picks. We're going to show you a graphic right there as to where we have each of those players. We got some players that we ranked very similarly, and some players we really kind of disagreed on as far as their value goes. So we're going to talk about player value and just kind of why we have players ranked certain areas. So, Tedder, you want to go ahead and start with one of your guys?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so, the guy I picked to talk about is George Kittle with the middle name Krieger, not to be confused with Kruger, but like Kruger, if you don't end up with Kittle, he will haunt your dreams. So I know how y'all feel about having your dreams haunted, but I hate it.
It's Kittle, yeah.
So where we differ, like Garrison said, I ranked him at number 19 in my top 50, where these two kind of have him in the 30 range. I put him at number 19 because I think he's just a no-miss guy. I think I have him up there with all the other type of receivers because he's going to see that amount of targets. Outside of Brandon Ayuk, there's not really much guys, that I see personally that can warrant more work in a game than George Kittle. The thing I really love about him, he's a human spiderweb. Sticky hands, catches everything, doesn't matter where you throw it, high, low, he's going to go get it. He's a 3-down tight end, fellas. He's going to be on the field all the time. The only thing that keeps him off the field is if he's hurt. And even then, it has to be a drastic injury for him not to play. So this man is going to tough it out. He's an athletic freak. And the one thing I really do enjoy about him is that he's a QB's best friend. A QB, doesn't matter where they throw it to him, he's going to make a play for you. And whether it's Jeremy Garoppolo, who's trying to keep a job, or Trey Lance, who's trying to take a job, whoever's in there, you throw it his way, he's going to go get it. So I love me some George Kittle.
Yeah, I love George Kittle.
I do too.
Solid player.
If he's out there, the durability's good. Kittle's a great tight end to have out there.
For sure.
Kruger. I don't know how I feel about that. All right, well, when we're talking about value picks, I have my guy, DeAndre Hopkins, the receiver, ranked above all the other receivers in the draft. I think he should be the number one receiver picked based on just his really good first year in Arizona. I like Kyler Murray as a quarterback. I really think they have it going on there. There's a lot of offensive weapons surrounding them, but not too much where DeAndre is not going to be the focal point of that offense. So he's the guy that I think, man, if you can get him as early as possible for receiver, go for it. Really do it. DeAndre's been my guy since he was a rookie, and he's never really let me down aside for that 1 year. And he had like 5 different quarterbacks that year. So
you might be able to pick him like second
he
round.
Might slip a little
bit.
So some people are low on DeAndre this year. So
including myself, I've got him the rank the lowest.
Yeah. So that's my guy that I think you should go after for receiver if you maybe want a top guy. Really, I have Michael Thomas, but he's injured as the best receiver in football. But right behind him is DeAndre Hopkins for me.
Don't sleep on my boy Devontae though. So I'm going to talk to you about CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I have him quite a bit lower than these guys. I'm probably a little too low on him, to be honest. But I was just not that impressed last year. He was RB22 on a points per game basis, and I have him at RB20. So it's even higher than he did last year. I'm expecting him to take another step forward. He was real streaky. He had a couple good games here and there, but for the most part, it was pretty bad points-wise. And I think the way the offense is run has a lot to do with that. The Chiefs just throw way too much. They've got Patrick Mahomes, they've got Tyreek Hill, they got Travis Kelce, and their defense really isn't that good. So they don't feel comfortable with the lead. I can tell. They don't feel they continue to throw. They continue to go to their best guys who are not named Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They're named Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. So it's probably why I have him so low. I just don't believe it. I gotta see it to believe it.
Another good football player, maybe not best fantasy situation.
Yeah, nothing against CEH. I'm just looking for guys with a little more opportunities to get runs, and he's not like super involved in the passing game. We'll see. I could be eating my words by the time this season's over.
No, yeah, I agree. He's definitely a matchup-based running back. So
if you're eating him, they'll be force-fed by CEH himself.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tedder, who else you got?
So yeah, I took Darrell Henderson as my second guy, running back for the Rams. I have him ranked number 39 out of my top 50. Average draft position-wise, if in a 12-man league, that's about rounds 5 to 7. They have him at number 68. Draft-wise, he's a number 23rd ranked running back, and number 46th ranked player overall on ESPN. So that's about 7 places higher or lower than where I got him. I love Henderson. The Rams are dealing with an injury to their guy that was last year. Cam Akers tore an Achilles over the summer, so now Darrell Henderson's a lone ranger. He's the only guy there. And, from Jeremy Fowler out of ESPN saying that the Rams are all in on Henderson. So it's looking like they may not go a free agent route. So, which means, this guy's going to get a lot of work, a lot of carries, a lot of production. So if he can stay healthy, stay on the field, he's going to be an absolute bombshell, I think. He's got game-breaking speed. Dude is unreal between the tackles, I think. And when he gets out, he's out. There's not a lot of guys in the league that can catch him from behind. And one thing I would like to add, with the chance of them not picking somebody up, that leaves Xavier Jones and Jake Funk, who are the backups that could possibly be sleepers this year because they'll fall into the complementary role. So keep your eye out for those two names. The two guys that could make a name for themselves. But anyways,
some in deep leagues maybe.
Yeah, deep leagues. Yeah. If you're in a 10 to 12 league, I wouldn't worry about those guys unless someone gets hurt
this year, except for the super deep.
Super deep. Go deep.
Super deep.
All right. You got another guy you want to talk about, Mason?
I do. I got a guy I think's being drafted too high. That is a great player, physically, just an awesome guy to watch play. He's got all the tools. His name's CeeDee Lamb. He's on the Cowboys, who have a ton of weapons. They got Ezekiel Elliott, Dax running the ball. He's throwing it to Schultz and Jarwin, and I have Amari Cooper higher than CeeDee Lamb just because he's proven himself so many times and has really shown his connection with Dak Prescott. Michael Gallup's there. There's too many mouths to feed in Dallas where I don't think CeeDee Lamb should be drafted in the top 30. I don't think he's a bad player by any means. This is fantasy. You gotta take value where you can get it, and CeeDee, I don't think you're getting the value as high as people are drafting him. So if he does fall, of course grab CeeDee Lamb, but I don't think he's going to. Maybe avoid him.
Yeah, he's got a high draft position right now
for just what his potential points could be.
Going against a lot of ESPN analysts there. I like it.
Somebody's got to do it.
Bold call. I love it. I want to talk about a third-year guy, and a guy that I'm in love with by the name of A.J. Brown. I just think he came out so strong as a rookie, and he only got better last year, and I expect that trend to continue. It's his third year. He's going to keep getting better. I think he could get more looks because they know what they have in him now. He made the Pro Bowl last year on 2 bum knees. Dude had surgery on both his knees after the season. And imagine what he can do with 2 fully functional knees. I really am excited to see what this guy can bring. Julio Jones is coming in. It's going to take some of the pressure off of him. And I don't think it's going to take away from his target share like some people think is. Because Corey Davis was taking a significant amount of targets.
More opportunities.
It really might, because I think they're going to have to respect Julio Jones more than they were going to have to respect Corey Davis.
Those guys run different route trees too.
Yeah.
And if you just think about the absolute play action nightmare he's going to be when they try to fake it to Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure they use a lot of play action in that offense. And then he may be the hardest running wide receiver in the league. The dude is like impossible
at times.
It is crazy. I think it was against the Ravens when he had 3 dudes on him at the 8-yard line. And he broke multiple tackles, 3 tackles, and then just powered his way into the end zone. It was absolutely insane. If you haven't seen that clip, look it up. You will be impressed.
We all had AJ pretty high.
Yeah. And so I have him as my 5th best wide receiver, and I fully believe he's going to end up in the top 5 of the wide receivers this year for fantasy points. And Derrick Henry and his dominance are the biggest threat to AJ's value. But I do think this offense is going to be very powerful, and they're going to score a lot of touchdowns. And so I don't know if that's going to fully take away enough for me to get him out of my top 5. So I'm gonna get as much AJ Brown as I can this year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. So up next, we got a segment called Pale Horse, Dark Horse. We brought to you by yours truly, Mason. We got a Pale Horse, which will explain the player. Pale Horse is, that guy that's going to score all the points this year.
Last year
was this guy. This year, Mason has another prediction. The Dark Horse is kind of like that sleeper guy, a guy who didn't do much last year, but is going to come out of the dark and be that guy who's going to score a lot of points too. So I'm excited to see what Mason has to say.
We finally made it to my segment that I've been really gushing over. Ready for some shadow facts?
Oh, I'm
Behold
ready.
the Pale Horse.
Okay.
My selection for top fantasy scorer on the year
Let's hear it.
overall. Kyler Murray on the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Running quarterback. Kyler, the track star baseball player that's playing football.
Overall athlete.
Yeah. He stays healthy. Kyler's a stud. He was top 3 last year, so it wasn't that much of a reach. But, Christian might stay healthy. You got Josh. You got Patrick. I'm going with Kyler. And if it is Kyler, you can thank me. If not, forget I said anything.
He's going a lot lower, too, so...
Yeah, Kyler's got the weapons. I was talking about DeAndre Hopkins earlier being my guy. I love that they got matched together. I'm sure DeAndre's happy he's not in Houston right now. So
everybody who's not in Houston is happy that
I don't
they're
even
not
know
in
if Houston wants to be in Houston. And then we got our dark horse coming out of the black. Cortland Sutton, the donkey. Did you remember or forget about Cortland? He was a breakout player 2 years ago, and last year he was dealing with, I think, an Achilles or a tear of, or not Achilles, ACL, wasn't it?
I'm not sure what he was dealing with, actually, but, I think a lot of people did forget about it.
It was a pretty major injury. I mean, the Broncos were a building team, so they weren't trying to race Cortland back. Now that they kind of feel like they have a little bit more surrounding Drew Lock, he's healthy, throwing more consistently. It's going to be nice that they have Cortland there. Jerry Jeudy's taking some of the pressure off him. Noah Fant really came out last year, so I have Cortland putting up fantasy points this year. Yeah. Drew Lock can kind of throw the ball. He gets it out there, so Cortland's going to get it if it's going his way.
Cortland's going to get open.
Yeah.
Cortland's a stud. I really see him finishing at least in the
top 10.
He's
got a lot of multi-tool aspects.
Value there, too, because he's going a lot later, so I keep my eye open for Cortland Sutton. I agree with your very dark horse.
Yeah. Awesome, huh?
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to move on to the rookie jar. But before we do that, let's talk about the code word this week, okay? The code word is going to be victory. Victory! All right, victory. Go ahead and send that into our social medias, our IG and Twitter, as well as our email. Everything is Fantasy FB Fam. So, yeah. Just go ahead and send that in and make sure to include your full name so that we know that it's you and that you're not, putting in multiple entries, although nobody's even put any entries in yet. So go ahead and get on that.
You should be the one to put it in.
You should be. And you can win your portion of $600.
I don't know why you wouldn't do it. This is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Everybody loves fantasy, especially if you've never been in a super deep league. I've never been in a super deep league.
I can't wait to be in our super deep league.
I'm excited. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Cool. All right. Well, it's time for our rookie jar. We're going to send it over to Tedder. You want to take one out of the rookie jar, Tedder? Let's see who he gets.
Let's see.
Who's in there?
All right, well, to my surprise, it's another Denver Bronco. Javonte Williams, running back out of North Carolina. Tickle me pink. I'm super excited about this player, not only as a Bronco, but as a fantasy football player in general. We're talking about a 5'10", 212-pound wrecking ball. One thing about Javonte Williams that I really enjoy was last year in college football, he led the NCAA in broken tackles, and he had 75 broken tackles on 157 attempts, which is amazing. Another great thing about him is that a 7.4 yard average per carry, which means he was just dragging defenders around. The cool fact about him is fellow rookie Michael Carter Jr., who plays for the Jets, him and Javonte played together. They both rushed for over 1,000 yards, which is wild. Another cool thing about those two, there's a little plug for Michael Carter, they led the nation in 10-yard plus runs as a tandem at North Carolina. So just incredible running talent. The one thing I really love about Javonte is that he's going to be a future workhorse, I believe. He's a 3-down back potential. He's great out of the backfield. So PPR-wise, he can get you points on the ground and through the air. Going into this year's draft, 2021 draft, he was a lot of the analysts' number one running back. So, he went in the second round, but a lot of people had him rated higher than Najee and Travis Etienne, respectively. And the last thing I'll add is, after the preseason game where he went off, the one quote that I love that he said was, "I love to break tackles." So if you want a guy late or even early round, I'll probably end up grabbing him early because I'm a Broncos fan and I want him. But this is a guy who I think later in the season will be a no-miss, who I think will probably end up supplanting Melvin Gordon as a starter, and a guy that may be just a plug and chug type of player later in the fantasy season. So yeah.
All right. Mason, you ready to take a rookie from the rookie jar?
Born ready. Oh, I was born ready for this one. Zach Wilson. One Zach Wilson throw away from where I was born, Orem, Utah. He comes out of BYU. Going to the New York Jets. The New York Jets have a lot of questions around them. A new coach, Robert Saleh, is there. Defensive-minded. He might be putting a good situation around Zach Wilson. He definitely has some position players around him to help him flourish.
He might get some good field position. Yeah, with that defense.
Yeah, even receiver-wise, or Sam Darnold didn't really have what Zach Wilson's working with. So him being mobile, able to move, he's got a lot of physical tools. He's got a good football IQ. I think Zach Wilson's going to be a good football player, maybe one of those guys that's not relevant in fantasy right now. really, when looking at Zach Wilson, watching highlights, he played for BYU for 3 years. He knows how to win. So I feel like guys who with a good defensive coach that want to go out there and win might not put up the biggest fantasy numbers. I don't know. Zach Wilson might have 15 points a lot of weeks, but he's a good player. So keep an eye on him.
Yeah, maybe some of those skill positions around him might get a boost with.
Plus, he's got that pretty baby face. So
yeah,
not bad to look at.
All right, looks like it is my turn. Take a rookie from the rookie jar.
Here you go, sir.
I'm gonna find a good one.
Sorry about the awkward reach there.
Oh, it's okay. I don't mind a little awkward reach. Okay. Ooh, looks like I got Elijah Moore.
Ooh.
Another Jets guy.
Is that a buddy?
How did that happen?
Buddy, I don't know how that happened, man. But yeah, so Elijah Moore, he's a very interesting talent, and I have watched some of his highlights from college, and the dude's got hands. He can catch, he'll go up and get the ball, he'll lay himself out, and he's very quick and shifty, and I could see him being a huge yak guy. Like yak. If you don't know, yak is yards after catch.
Not the animal.
Not the animal, no.
Drop the K, carry the C.
Yeah. So he had nearly 1,200 yards last year, 8 games. He played 8 games.
Wow.
So it's 149 yards a game, and he had a touchdown per game to boot. It's a pretty solid junior year.
Yeah, sounds like a running rebel to me.
Yeah, man. And
I like those good 50-50 guys in the air. They go up and get those balls one-on-one.
he goes up and gets it. He really does. And he's from Old Miss, and they've cultivated wide receivers like A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. Actually, after he got drafted, A.J. Brown was like super emotional. I saw this video, and he was telling Elijah Moore he thinks he's more talented than A.J. is. And that...
Respect.
Yeah, like that he's learned a lot of things from Elijah Moore. I think he just needs to change his first name to initials, so it's like a sure thing he's good,
Definitely.
Got DK, AJ. We could call him EJ.
EJ, there we go.
There was a good EJ on the Jets before, right?
I don't know.
Manuel?
Oh, God.
Not a good
one. Anyway, so Zach Wilson, I saw him. He looked pretty good, looked pretty efficient in his first preseason game. We'll see if that continues. The problem here is that he is on the Jets, and while Zach Wilson did look good this week, and I do believe Robert Saleh...
It's a tough division for the Jets this
year. And I think Robert Saleh will be a good head coach, but there's really no guarantee that it'll turn into consistent fantasy production for most of these Jets players. I really do prefer Corey Davis to Elijah Moore. He's going earlier, though, too, so there's that thing, so you might be able to find a better value. He's also nursing a quad injury right now, so we gotta keep an eye on that. And he might not even be in any preseason games, so you'd be kind of taking a shot in the dark there if you draft him. I think he's a big dynasty target, so I'm gonna try to go get him in dynasty. In redraft leagues, I think he's really just like a late round flyer with a lot of upside though.
Maybe
too.
try to waiver him after he does really well if he breaks out like Justin Jefferson last year
think
out of nowhere.
I think he is getting drafted in most leagues.
Yeah, I would take a risk
lot of
on
those
him.
guys will get drafted and then they won't score a lot the first half of the season and get dropped, and then they can be waiver guys later.
Yeah.
I think it's a guy you draft and stash. You just sit on him. A guy that you can be comfortable with.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like him. I don't know if I see the full value in redraft leagues. Definitely in Dynasty, though.
Awesome.
All right, fam. The time has finally arrived. We get to pimp somebody's league. A guest is coming on the show. The only problem that I see is we don't really have a spot for him. What do you think we should do about that?
Hey guys.
What's up?
We had to pimp our co-host so we can pimp your league! So, this is Owen. He is a commissioner of a fantasy football league, and he's got some rules that he ran by us, and we're gonna pimp them. We're gonna pimp those rules out. Yeah. So, Owen, tell us a little bit about your league.
Right, as Gary's been saying, I have my own league, and this is our 4th year doing it. It's a 12-team PPR scoring league, just standard scoring. There are 12 teams total, and there's only 2 divisions. So a total of half the teams make the playoffs. So if you win your division, you automatically get a first-round bye.
Okay.
Or into the semifinals, which is kind of cool. But then the next 4 teams, in terms of record, make the playoffs then. and then they
4
play
wild
in
cards.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
2 wild card games to see who plays, the winners of the
Cool.
division.
All right.
And then one thing that's super important is each team in their division plays every other team in their division 2 times.
Gotcha.
And that's important because the tiebreaker for playoff seeding is intra-division record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes those division games very important.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rivalries. Man.
Yeah.
feels
Rivalries are formed.
Like an actual NFL schedule.
Yeah, much more like an actual NFL schedule.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Another special thing is it's a 3 wide receiver,
Oh.
2 running backs. Everything else is standard by that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool. And how many bench slots you got?
We have 7 bench slots, and then we also have 1 injured reserve.
Okay. Gotcha.
So what do you guys think? How could I pimp my league?
I think we can pimp this league.
I think
Tedder.
so.
I think we can pimp this league.
Yes.
I must say I do like the 6 team with the bye thing, and I do like that if you win your division, you automatically get your money back. I think that's really cool. I went over the rules. You know, I saw there's like 4-point passing touchdowns. There's no real bonuses or anything. And the first thing I thought of is I think pocket QBs need a little bit of help.
Right.
You know, so I'm going to suggest you go ahead and do a 300-yard and 400-yard passing bonus. Do +1 points for each of those thresholds. And then since passing TDs are only worth 4 points, I think we're going to change the interceptions to -1 as opposed to -2.
Okay.
So those guys that are throwing it a lot, they don't get penalized quite as often.
Nice.
Yeah. What do you think, Tedder?
Cool. I know you mentioned you like 6 teams. Well, how would you feel about 4 teams? Because it's fun to get that bye, but people love to play fantasy football. And taking that week off kind of sucks.
Yeah,
right?
especially if you got a really good team,
Yeah.
right? You want to watch them play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how would you feel maybe about a 4-team playoff, but 2-week play for each of those playoff games?
Yeah, I have a league like that, and
Yeah.
it's actually really fun. You know,
Oh.
it makes the battle throughout the regular season a lot more intense.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I like that. Yeah, I think that'll be a good way to pimp it out.
definitely.
Nice.
And you know, I know you have the 3 wide receivers, and then you also have the 7 bench slots. And I think that's too many people on your roster. So I think maybe we just bring that down to 6 bench slots.
Right.
Instead. You know, maybe allow more people to be in the free agency, so you know those waivers are you can get better people as long as you're
Right.
paying attention.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Those are sweet ideas. Thank
Yeah.
you
I was
guys.
gonna say, give us some feedback. What do you
Yeah.
think?
What do you think?
Let me see. So obviously, I'm a fair commissioner, so I don't just willy-nilly change the rules. You know,
I like that.
every manager has to have their say, and if we're all for it, we go for it. But
I like it.
I kind of like the 4 teams make the playoffs ideal. I think that makes the postseason mean a lot more, and I think that you don't really, you're not penalized for making the playoffs and then losing the first game. you know?
Definitely.
Right.
I think that's a really cool idea.
It's easy to lose 1 week. It's harder to lose
Right.
2 weeks if you've got a really good
Exactly.
Adjust.
team. Yeah.
Exactly. I guess my only thing that I would think about with that one is I could see some people possibly thinking like, well, if not as many teams make the playoffs, then it's going to be harder for me to make the playoffs.
It's true.
And therefore, if I fall behind earlier in the season, maybe I won't be able to play later in the season. But
You should tell those people to be better at fantasy football.
Yes.
Tell them to watch the show.
yeah, watch the show.
Watch the
Fantasy
show, get
football
better,
fan.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
But the idea that I really like that you guys brought up is changing the bench slots.
Yeah.
Because, oh my gosh, some guys in the league, they just like to hoard certain players.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't
waiver
even play
vultures.
them. They don't even start them.
Yeah, I know.
They just
So-
vulture them up.
It forces you to make like business decisions, is what
Yeah.
I call it. So you
Definitely.
know, like do I hold on to this guy or do I pick up another tight end or something?
Yeah.
You know, because if you can just hoard a bunch of people, maybe you get all the good backups, but you don't ever play them, like you were saying.
Right.
You know, so
Definitely.
cool,
It's a higher risk, higher reward type.
Yeah.
awesome, cool. I'm glad you like some of the ideas.
Yeah.
You should definitely run some of them by your league mates.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that you're a fair commissioner. And
Absolutely.
not a dictator. You know.
No tyrant.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Owen.
Thank you guys for
Yeah.
pimping my league.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
thanks for
problem.
coming, man.
All right,
Awesome.
take it easy.
Appreciate it.
Where'd you come from, dude?
You good?
I don't want to talk about it, guys.
All right, let's move on then.
Okay. All right, guys. So we're talking about a tight end premium league here. So my question is,
Ours, yeah.
how early is too early to draft Travis Kelce? Because I'm thinking, if I'm second pick and he's there, I'm just gonna get him. You know,
He's climbing regular draft boards, so tight end premium, he's got to be at the top.
I think on ESPN he's at 4. He's like the 4th overall ranked guy, which I think is kind of ridiculous for standard leagues. But I think second, you know, you get Christian McCaffrey off the board first, and then after that, you know, this guy's getting 8 points per touchdown, 1.5 per reception.
That could realistically translate into 30 points a game.
30 points. He already
Christian
was doing
is the only guy who could really average more than that.
Right, yeah. So I'm thinking second overall is where I'm taking him.
Yeah.
What about you, Tedder?
Oh, man. Travis Kelce, Kansas City Chief. Don't want to give him too much love because he is a Chief, but if we're talking tight end premium leagues, I think Kelsey's the way to go. He's another can't miss type pick. He's a guy that Patrick Mahomes relies on all the time. He's a guy that can't really be guarded. He's a zone just buster. I mean, you run zone against this guy, he's going to eat you alive. Red zone, middle of the field, coming out of the opponent's red zone. It doesn't matter where he's at. He's going to see the football. He's going to score a lot of points. So, yeah, Garrison, as much as I hate to say this, Travis Kelce is a guy that you probably want to draft number 2 if you have a chance.
Number 2, yeah.
Are you going to name your team after Travis Kelce?
Hell no. No, I personally probably won't draft Travis Kelce, but for the fans, take him.
If you got second,
No.
Christian McCaffrey's off the board, you're not taking Travis?
No, I would look for all other options before
Okay.
me. That's me personally.
You know?
He'll take Noah Fant before he takes Travis
Oh,
Kelce.
God.
Damn right.
I hope not. All right, remember to follow us on our IG and Twitter. And thank you so much for joining us today. See you next week, fam.
You got this, Kev. Literally every single one of these is blank.